こんにちは。
Yeah, I'm brainwashing them to think that using nuclear energy is good. Yeah, please send the check to Nolan. Hello? Hello? Oh, man. What your boy needs to do to earn some money? Shit, who turns on the camera? Jokes apart, dear viewers, you might think this kind of yellow bottle which contain this green glowing gooey substance which will be dumped into river by evil corporations to create Godzilla, but the truth is far from that. This is not what nuclear waste looks like. The reality is a very well managed and nearly indestructible storage that we know for a long time. Most people think that nuclear waste is the most difficult challenge that we are facing in order to go all nuclear. But nuclear waste is not the problem that you think it is. To understand why it is not, first you have to understand what nuclear waste is. Any waste material that can radiate alpha, beta and gamma particles is a nuclear waste. It can be anything from used nuclear fuel rod to pen and paper used by nuclear engineers, and it is not limited to nuclear energy only. It can also come from a hospital or from rare earth mining. By this day, almost 500,000 tons of nuclear waste have been made, but 2/3 of that is already recycled. Almost all of it is stored in large pool of water or in dry cask in the spot they are generated. Now, thousands of tons of nuclear waste all over the world on site should have a lot of environmental and health effects, right? Properly managed nuclear waste has no known environmental or public health effect. In the last video, we did some comparison between energy produced per square meter and death per petawatt hour. So let's do some comparison again.
Every year coal plants produce 130 billion kilograms of ash. Until now we have a total amount of 500,000 tons of nuclear waste. This means in the USA alone coal power plants put 300 times more ash in the sky than all nuclear power plants produce in their life combined. And let me show you some damage that fossil fuel has done. This thing hurts to look at because they are hurting the planet. And yet we maintain a tremendous blind spot. Yes, it is true that nuclear waste can be dangerous, but even here if you look at the number just by nature and how coal is processed, they have some amount of radioactive material from the ground just like everything else. An average coal plant through its ash will put more radiation in the atmosphere than a 100 nuclear power plant of the same size combined.
Yeah, I know you are not called Big Uranium. I just said that to sound more cool. So yeah, when can I get my check? Sorry, I was just buying some t-shirt. You want some? No? Okay, cool. Look, I'm not a scientist. I'm not even close to becoming an expert. But I think about this a lot. I would happily live a whole month in Chernobyl than, well, not now, after the war. Rather in Beijing where the air pollution is so thick that 9/11 first responders were breathing cleaner air than that. Look, it's not worst case versus worst case. It's complicated reality. And the reality is fossil fuel is the scar that we think nuclear energy is.
But Nolan, if nuclear waste is not as fossil fuel pollution and the problem is already solved, then what is the solution?
Well, there are 3 types of nuclear waste produced from a nuclear power plant. Low-level waste that can be anything like pen, paper or gloves used by nuclear engineers. Intermediate level waste which requires some shielding but will decay eventually over time. High-level waste, these are the things that people are so afraid of and require cooling in ponds for years before storing in a safe space. Though they are highly dangerous and require professional handling, they are tiny portion of the total amount of waste ever generated. How tiny, you ask? Well, all the high-level waste ever generated from all the nuclear power plants all over the world can be stored in a single football field amount of area. In most places, these high-level waste are kept above ground in containers called dry cask. They are giant concrete cylinders and inside them are not green paste like you imagine. It is actually glass and ceramic. Over 90% of all nuclear waste has a half-life of fewer than 100 days and it can decay on site to the point of harmlessness in the lifetime of a power plant. Of course, they will be radioactive, but standing next to one of them for 8 hours will be equivalent to taking an 8-hour-long flight. When properly managed, nuclear waste is one of the easiest energy waste to take care of.
But what about in between nuclear waste production and storage? Can't any accident happen while moving these things around?
That is actually a very good question. These are nuclear waste transport casks. We put nuclear waste in this and move them from site A to site B. And they are indestructible. You simply cannot break them. Just watch this video.
A train was sent at 160 kilometers an hour into a deliberately derailed nuclear container. The crash looked devastating. But the important thing was that the nuclear container emerged intact. Its strong walls, train was sent at one simply deflected the kinetic energy. When the impact test was complete, the experts checked the pressure inside and confirmed that there was no significant change.
In all these years, they have traveled millions of kilometers and still not a single time one of them broke and green paste came out of it, as there is no green goo inside. It is all glass and rock. And as they are not liquid, they cannot be weaponized. I mean, they can be used as weapon, like throwing rocks at each other that we used to do 1,000 years ago. But honestly, we can throw anything.
Okay, I get it. They are not dangerous anymore.
So, here you have it. I have just shown how nuclear waste is not dangerous.
Nolan, I just received an email from Big Uranium. Your requested paycheck is cancelled after all. No wonder you do such terrible acting.
Yeah, looks like in order to pay my bills, I have to sell t-shirts now. So, if you want to buy this t-shirt, then you can click in the link in the description below. There will be two separate links, one for Bangladesh, one for outside Bangladesh. If you enjoyed the video, then please give a thumbs up. Also share the video with your friends. And if the subscribe button is unpressed, please press that, man. It's free. You don't have to pay anything, but it will help my channel to grow. See you in the next video. Till then.
あらあら、さようなら。